Hello, I am Tiffany Brown, and I am doing a debate with Claudia in regards to Social Security being privatized. And so I am for this privatized Social Security. So I'm going to speak to you in regards to a few reasons why I think it's best that Social Security should be privatized. Uh, so, what this means is that you would be converting your Social Security, which is a federal insurance program that provides benefits to retired people and those who are unemployed or disabled. So you would convert that Social Security benefits to your own private investment account, which is transferring your public funds to your own private ownership, where you can control those funds without any rules or regulations. That is your funds. So, Social Security privatization using individual accounts have occurred two ways: voluntarily and mandatory. And this has already taken effect in other countries such as the United Kingdom and Japan, which is voluntary privatized, and there are some mandatory plans that are used by some countries in Latin America, in Chile, and Mexico, and Sweden. And so this information I pulled up from aarp.org, which is very interesting because I do not know much about Social Security, being that I'm so young at 42. However, that is something to think about and to take into account as I'm getting older and wanting to make sure I have funds available after retirement. So I probably have a good 25 to 30 years, hopefully, doing what I love, which is social work. And so I want to make sure I have a nice, good chunk of change available. And so by doing that, I argue the fact that Social Security should be privatized. And one good argument, I think, would be that individual investments accounts would boost economic growth by injecting money back into America's financial system. And so what that would look like is that this is something that I think about as I look at my children's future, or even children in general looking to further their education after high school. But I guess I should say those children that are looking to have a good foundation of a job that they love and not necessarily wanting to go into school for that. And so and they would want a decent source of income. And so I think by boosting the economic growth in America would help with that, because a lot of sometimes people feel like, oh, you have to go to college or have to have this trade to be successful. And that should not be the case if your child's heart desire is not to do those things, but they feel like they want to or have a passion to do something that does not require that. We want to make sure that our children are set, and that the economic system is a great foundation for them to be able to jumpstart into what they want to do. And so I was looking at the Britannica Social Security procon.org, and they had said that in the decades following Chile's privatization of its pension system in 1981, the savings account that were established generated the equivalent of about 40% of GNP, and Chile's annual growth rate rose to above 7%, doubling the country's historic growth rate. Okay, and this came from Chile's former Secretary of Labor and Social Security. And Peter Ferreira, former director of the International Center for Law and Economics, stated that the reduced tax burden and high savings and investment resulting from personal accounts would substantially boost economic growth. This will result in more jobs, better jobs, and higher wages and overall income. And that's what we want for everybody, not just thinking of the people that will come after us. It's, us today. Like, we are always striving to have a great foundation with great wages, because that's what makes the world go round, right? Money. And so we want to make sure we're set on that. Another reason that I think would be a great argument is that the 2020 Social Security Board of Trustees report indicated that by 2035, the U.S. government will be able to pay about 3/4 of benefits, whereas since 2010, Social Security has been paying out more in benefits than it receives in worker contribution. Using the existing system to avert the pending collapse of Social Security would require deep cuts in benefits, heavy borrowing, and substantial tax hikes. A better solution is to switch private retirement accounts that would be funded with existing payroll taxes. The Cato Institute project on Social Security stated that moving to personal retirement accounts can reduce Social Security's debt and bring the system back into possession of assets in excess of liabilities. So, say a person makes like $1 million in their working lifetime, right? So what they're saying, by 2035, that you will receive 1/4 of that. Okay, so you do the math, that's like $750,000. So you're not entirely getting what you paid into. You're getting 3/4 of that by the year 2035, which some of us will still be here. And then we're thinking of the people that come after us, right? Like, I'm a mom of 3, and so I'm always thinking about the future for my children. And I want them to be able to receive all the hard-earned money that they have gotten over their working years and not be gypped 3/4 of that. I mean, that's a big amount, okay? And so I threw that 1 million out there because I think that's more of an average of what people make. That's more on the lower spectrum, around 35,000, 40,000 a year. So with this private account, you will get all of that in return and be sitting nice at retirement. My next argument would be to say that private retirement accounts give workers the contractual right to retirement benefits, a right missing from the current Social Security system. So this kind of falls into what I was kind of saying earlier in regards wanting to get all your benefits that you've worked for. And so again, looking at the website AARP, getting all this great information from. I'm going to say that in the 1960s, U.S. Supreme Court case Fleming versus Nestor, a retired legal immigrant eligible for his Social Security benefits who paid into the system for 19 years, was denied his Social Security retirement money after being deported for being a member of a communist party. And so, whether his beliefs or not, work is work, and I believe you should get all of what you've put into it. And so, that's just, an example of that. I do want to say that benefits that you receive are secure, in the private accounts. And, with the Social Security system now, if you were to pass away, if I were to pass away, making this a personal thing, my children will not receive any of that. Now, if I had a private account, my children and future husband, if I'm married when I die, will receive all of that and be able to benefit from all the hard work that I did while I was here on earth. They will be able to reap those benefits. And that's what I want for my children, for them to be better than I was and to be a step ahead or a few steps ahead than I was. And that's what parents really want for their kids. And I think I can speak for everyone that we just want the best. And so I think these are really great, arguments for those that feel like they are against privatized Social Security, that this is something to think about. And, hopefully we'll strive and get into that like these other countries. So I thank you so much for your time and have a wonderful day.